Hey, welcome back to the channel. Brendan here. I'd like to talk a little bit about AI, LLMs, and how to use them and get the most use out of them. And if you're paying for a subscription to ChatGPT or to Claude, you might actually consider not doing that and just using the API keys so that you can actually get more bang for your buck and not get those annoying rate limits. If you do a quick Google search of like OpenAI rate limits or Claude rate limits, you're going to find a bunch of people being like, this is kind of annoying to use. If you've ever used the free version or even the pro version, I think you're limited to like 45 messages an hour or something like that. You can quickly go through those if you're going back and forth and reprompting. And it's really annoying. I was paying for Claude for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months and just really not getting the full value out of it. And ever since switching to an API key and something like Typing Mind or Open Web UI or anything LLM, I have been able to use it much more frequently to a much higher degree and never get rate limited. And so I actually end up saving money most months and get way more usage out of it. So I wanted to share what that looks like, why you might consider doing it, and how it might help you. So I mentioned briefly Typing Mind. Typing Mind is like just a UI for interacting with the APIs for these different models. And here's their. I think this is just their homepage, and you can actually come test it out and see examples of what are all the features. But I think it's a really nice use case to check out. You can actually buy an unlimited lifetime license to use this for it's like $100 for the unlimited one with you get all these different features like artifacts and project folders and the plugins and stuff like that. So I ended up getting a copy of this, and I feel like it's a really great investment if you're going to be interacting with LLMs. And I think that it ends up being very worthwhile of an investment to use one of these tools. Again, you don't have to use Typing Mind. I mentioned um, Open Web UI, which you can actually self-host. Here I have it self-hosted on my own domain in Coolify. And so I can, come in here and go to my models and see all the different models, and I can add my keys and all that good stuff, all the things that you would expect from one of these. And same thing with anything LLM. That's also one that you can self-host. You can also just run it locally. Um, I've got that pulled up here. And again, you've got your chats on the side. You can create a new thread or a new project, so to speak. And, you can come in here and change your LLMs. And the nice thing about this is that you can actually, let's see, how do I get there? Settings and LLMs. You can actually run Olama locally or, like Quen or any of these other like locally hosted ones. You have to make sure you have enough space on your hard drive there, but you can actually run these locally, so you're not actually needing to connect to the internet. And so you can come and select all your different keys and all that stuff. So I just wanted to show a couple different competitors, but I'm going to be looking at Typing Mind, and I think it's a really easy to use version of these. You don't need to self-host it; you can just run it, and it's like an app where it runs in your browser. And there's a lot of really cool features in here that I think ends up being better than a subscription to any of these things. Uh, and you'll probably understand why by the end of this video. So let's just look at a quick demo of the interface and just kind of talk about what it does for us. So first of all, I can, of course, type in here. I can also call AI agents within it. So I'm not really going to get into that, but they're like, various use cases. If you have like a YouTube content writer agent or a pro coder agent and stuff like that, you can create your own agents and give it instructions and give it sort of defined parameters. But this one, I can just be like, I can type to it, of course, but I can also talk to it. I can say, hey, can you give me the best? Oh, wait. Hey, can you give me the best practices for making a WordPress plugin? And that'll finish. And let's see if it'll work. Hey, can you give me the best practices for a WordPress plugin? Okay. And so then now it's put that text in there. I can send it. It's going to make me enter an API key. Instead of doing that, I'll just open up my own. So I will open up my local one. This is just an app that I have downloaded because I've already purchased it. Here are my own projects. And let's just go, hey, can you make me a WordPress plugin boilerplate with best practices? Okay, that didn't work. Hey, can you make a WordPress boilerplate plugin? Thanks. So I think it's because I have my voice also talking in OBS. But what it's doing is it's taking my message and it says, okay, I'll help you create this plugin. It's doing a web search to actually get me the best practices for 2025. And it's saying, okay, here's the result that I've found. It's actually a couple years old, but it's basically cross-referencing that with its own knowledge base so that it has more up-to-date data, right? So it's doing this actual search on Google to find that first, and then it's giving me the result. So here's my plugin. It's giving me the hierarchy of the file structure, basic implementation for the PHP, all that good stuff. And it's in a nice step-by-step way of approaching it and sort of teaching me how to do it, key features, recommendations, etc., all that good stuff. It has some old other features down here to like search the internet for it, or I can copy this or I can edit it, all that good stuff that you're probably used to. But I think the ability of it to actually be able to search the internet is huge. And the way that works is there's plugins in TypingMind that you can attach here. There's like a Firecrawl extension if you want to actually scrape a full website. There's DALL-E if you want to create images. Web search is what I'm using, right? You can attach a simple calculator to it. So really a ton of functionality that you can use that actually the subscriptions to these don't actually give you, because the ability to search the internet is limited in that sense. It's only the knowledge base is only what the LLM has been given, whereas this one can supplement it. So that's the first thing I think that's really huge, these plugin ones. And these are just ones I have installed. I can hit manage plugins, and there's other plugins here, right? I can do image searches, search market news, send notifications to Slack or use Zapier, that kind of stuff. So there's a ton of plugins here to search. Well, I wouldn't say a ton. There's a limited number, but there's some really useful ones. And you can I guess you can create plugins. I haven't done that, but hey, maybe that's another video. So let's just go back to our chats again. And over here on the left, I have my, my projects, right? So I have various client ones and some just like tool-based ones. I've got all my N8N chats. I've got my automatic CSS chats. And the other cool thing about these projects, right, it stores all your chats in here, of course. But if I hit project settings, I can define project context. I can give it instructions on what to do. I can choose the model that I want to use. Like, if I want to use the latest Claude 3.7 Sonnet version, I could do that. You can assign those AI agents that we mentioned earlier. You can assign those to the project. If you have documents or PDFs or whatever kind of files, I can select that and add them. And then what I've done here is add in another data source. And this is basically just doing an API call to the automatic CSS documentation. And, I can test that endpoint, and it is saying, okay, yeah, we found all the data and it's that many characters, and this content will be included in the requests that you make to this project. So it's nice way to be able to, change by project, different, adding different parameters or different knowledge bases. Seems here like you can add actual like RAG storage here, which is pretty cool. And it looks like you can add different, add multiple contexts. So really powerful stuff in a way that lets you, really get the full value out of these LLMs. So just like that, we've got some sample stuff from the AI agents here, or the AI prompts here that we can, start to build out our project and use these things. The other nice thing that I feel like was really limited in the subscription version of these, particularly Claude, which is what I had the most experience with, would be that you get rate limited so frequently, and oftentimes you can't switch between different models. You would have to start a new chat. Whereas with this one, I can just come and say, I can immediately just switch to this one and be still in the same chat. I don't have to make a new chat. And so that actually is very helpful, because what I'll often do is use, like Claude Haiku, which is cheaper, but it doesn't have vision. And I can see that here with the vision support. So these newer models are a little more expensive, but they have vision. And that means that, I can do something like upload an image here. So can you make me some MetaBox CPTs and custom fields based on this image? And I can actually upload an image here that is just like a drawing from my client actually that sent this. And, so now it's saying, okay, I'm going to make some custom fields based on the image that you've shared. And so now, because I'm using this newer model that has vision, it's able to read the image here and create this for us. So I can see it's projects, driveways is like a home services custom post type mapping thing. So anyway, it's just writing the plugin for me here basically, and adding all those MetaBox fields based on the image. So being able to just take a screenshot of what you're working on and upload it directly to the LLM, super, super helpful. And that's like one of my main use cases, honestly, is being able to take pictures, of my screen of various applications or projects I'm working on, and I don't need to type. I just upload it directly to this chat, and it sends me, it reads it for me and gives me the answers that I'm looking for. It's not going to give you the answer exactly every time, but hopefully you get an idea that it has vision attached to it, so it can actually interpret images and properly, render those. What else? So, I mean, there's just so many things in here to go over, but hopefully this gives like a little bit of an intro. You can come up and you can, I believe you can like add chat profiles. Like, so I was thinking about making one just, for personal stuff, or one for work-based stuff. But then it's kind of separating those out, but I don't know if it really matters that much. It might matter to you. We have our projects over here. You can create new ones. You can add new chats to them. You can search all your chats. I'm going to stop this. Boy, that was a long answer that it gave here. What is going on here? Yeah. So, anyway, that was just the intro to the chat, the switching between different chats. And it's nice you can actually go between Claude or OpenAI model, Gemini model, all that good stuff. So it's really a powerful thing to be able to do. Being able to switch your chat model just in the middle of your chat, I think, is just really a handy thing to be able to do, and to keep your costs down for sure. So in our settings here, what do we got? We've got cloud backup. I'm not saving any of the message attachments because I upload a lot of images. My one downside with something like Typing Mind is that it only has 10 megabytes of storage for cloud. But at the same time, like, I don't really need the cloud storage. Like, I can just export the folders and, and the chats that are in them, and I'd be able to reuse those if needed. I don't think it's super important, but that's just like one downside, that, it only comes with 10 megabytes of cloud storage, but most of this stuff is running locally anyway. But of course, you can, come and add your API keys for your various services. This one doesn't allow us to use local models, like, or even something like DeepSeek. It doesn't allow us DeepSeek or, Olama, but you got a lot of options to use here. Yeah, again, like the voice input, we did that. We did like speech to text. We did There's text to speech. There's some shortcuts, all that good stuff that you're used to. If I go back to our chat here, I can also see, right, I can see my plugin toggles if I wanted to turn some of these off or turn some of them on. I can also see what it costs. So I can see the model that was used. I can see how many messages. I can see how many tokens are used and my estimated cost. Looks like I spent 6 cents. This is a more expensive model. This came out like, I think just a few days ago. So it's their most powerful model and probably their most expensive model right now. But if I switch this to, Claude Haiku, and I say, can you generate some sample page content? Just keep it simple. And we'll see how much that costs. So before it was 6 cents. And yeah, it's going to generate all that content for me. And it's quick. I mean, it's pretty much an instantaneous reaction. You're not waiting for API calls. It's just does its job. But anyway, hopefully you're starting to see the idea that it's basically, self-hosting or running your own API connections to these chat models. And I'll just go back really quick to, well, let's look at this here. So now that chat costs about 2 cents to send that back to generate all that content for all those post types. So pretty cheap. I think 2 cents is going to be cheaper than, paying $20 a month. But that being said, you can go over $20 a month easily, especially if you're using more advanced model with vision. But most of the time, like if I look at my, here's my Anthropic billing or whatever. So, I was paying $20 a month. And since then, I've spent $15, 15, 28. I'm spending about $5 less per month and getting way more usage out of it. If I look at logs usage, if I look at my usage for like last month, over 13 million tokens went in. I mean, this is a lot. Like particularly this day, I did like half of them on that day that I was just testing stuff. And here's the month before, and again, 7.5 million tokens that I went in, and 280,000 went out. If I go back to like September, when I actually had the subscription, still way less usage, and I just ended up using it not as much because just the rate limits were really sort of infuriating. And since switching, I don't get rate limits anymore. Most months I spend less money and have all those powerful features in terms of plugins, being able to switch models, being able to have my projects. I can have, saved prompts. I can create agents, all those features. And I think it's super useful. I think it's super useful to have something like this. Now, again, you don't have to get Typing Mind. If you want to self-host this, you can. You can go to like openwebui.com. That lets you self-host it if you're comfortable with that, or you can like use something like Coolify that's literally a one-click install to have something like this up and running. All you need to do, add your API keys, and you should be good to go. Now you can also use this in something like Cursor. I mean, Cursor, you're just entering your API keys, and you can use this sort of as a chat. You don't have to even have a Cursor subscription. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. There's so many different tools. This is a rapidly evolving industry. And I think you should spend the time just kind of seeing what your options are, because there might be something out there that saves you a lot of time, saves you money, gives you more superpowers. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you see kind of the benefit of these kind of things and take it from there. Maybe go out and try some of these. I'll leave a link to all this stuff down in the description of the video. You can see the different versions of it. Let me know what you think. Are you already using something like this? Do you see the power? Does this excite you? Anyway, keep on grinding, everyone. See you in the next one.